All right. I think we're live. It looks a little dark to me. I don't know. You guys let me know if the lighting looks okay, if I need to turn the light up in a little bit or not. It's hard for me to tell for sure, but hey, we'll get into this and we'll see if we're showing up all right or not. Anyway. All right, let's get disclaimers out of the way, then we'll get into it real quick. This is a weekly live broadcast, pretty much every Thursday evening, 7 o'clock Central. This is where we're at. I don't have anything planned out. I just do my best to respond to all the chat that comes in during the live broadcast itself. So you guys pretty much direct the way it goes. Says looks good and sounds good. Somebody gave me some feedback. I appreciate that. So the only things I ask from you guys, I mean, we can talk about anything you want to talk about for the most part. You ask me anything you want to ask me. Keep it polite. Be family friendly. Don't be hateful with anybody, rude with anybody. Don't call anybody names. Start cussing at us, any of those kinds of things. And other than that, it's pretty much fair game. So let's get into this. We got S.O. Swanson saying that he had to run some errands, may miss the live, but doesn't miss his chance to get the 2 likes in. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And JJ thought you missed the live. Not yet. No, we're just getting going. You got plenty of time here. And then says feather and shell on Etsy with a question mark. I don't know what that is. Says nice stuff. I'm not familiar with that, but I may have to check it out later. We'll see. 12 gauge says finally caught the live again. Hey, Chris and all from North Central Arkansas. I bet it is chilly down there. It is chilly here. Yeah, here. Scrap 5000 says, what's up, y'all, from New York City, I think it is. NYC, New York City. And then we got Joy from Western Oregon. Having a little bit of problem tonight. I don't know if it's my glasses or not. So if I'm a little slow or whatever, my eyes are a little blurry tonight. Not too bad. I've been reading some stuff, and I think it's just I've been focused so close that it's hard for me to see further away. It's nothing to panic about, but I'm just giving you a heads up in case I'm having a hard time reading tonight. Who we got here? Andy Rabbit, good to see you. And then we got Chase from Kentucky, good to see you. JJ Willow, good to see you too. Chris A from Coastal Virginia, good to see you. Hey, there's Brandon from Whiskey Tango Farms. Says, good evening, Chris and everyone else. How's everyone doing tonight? Well, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully you are too. Good to see you guys here. Nick says, what's up, fellow friends? Hopefully you're doing well too, Nick. And then we got Herard. It says, hey, my bunny's teeth grew up towards its nose. Now they want to do surgery over $1,500. What should I do? Oh, my goodness. That's a lot of money spent on a rabbit. I can't tell you what to do on that one. This is, is this a pet rabbit, something you're invested in and, you really like this rabbit, or is this a meat rabbit, a livestock? If it was me, I can tell you what I would do is that I would put it in the freezer because that's just, I would process it, put it in the freezer because I raise them as livestock. I'll raise them as meat. I can't afford $1,500 on a rabbit, but that's what I would do. I can't tell you what to do. This is going to be, and I don't mean that to be hateful. If this is a pet rabbit that you said bunny makes me think pet rabbit. So if this is a pet rabbit and it's worth that much to you, then go ahead and do it. I don't have another solution for it, unfortunately. Good luck. I wish that I'm hoping that works out well. 12 gauge says, burr, it is cold. Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah, it's chilly out today. Man, it got cold. Not acclimated to it now because we've had like several days where it was pretty nice. And you get used to that pretty nice weather pretty quick. And then it dropped down. I think it's only 30 degrees outside right now. Maybe not even that warm. Hey, Jesse Mills is here. Good to see you, Jesse. Scrap says 65 degrees today in New York City. I love global warming. Yeah, it's coming your way, I think. So be prepared. AMK, what apiaries? There we go. Says, got my Govee hydrometer today. Read 96.8 degrees. Humidity bumped it up to, wait. Oh, no, I read that completely wrong. Got my Govee hydrometer today. Read 98.6 degrees. Bumped it up to 99.5 after candling everything alive and moving in the eggs. Will they still hatch? Thanks. Hope all is well. Well, if everything was good at candling, then yeah, you probably still get a good hatch rate on that. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't. It said it was reading 96.8 degrees, and you bumped it up to 99.5 after candling. You said everything was alive and moving in the eggs. Okay, that makes me wonder if the Govee is accurate. If you're saying that it read 96.8 degrees, you candled everything and everything was a moving and active and all that, well, then your temperature probably wasn't off that much. I can't imagine it was actually 96.8 degrees when you had really good result. I mean, your candling was really good, showing really good results. 96 degrees, you would think that you would have a really poor hatch rate. So that makes me wonder if you should really trust the Govee thermometer. I don't know if you've tried to calibrate it yet or test it against anything else, but I would be a little concerned because if you're bumping it up 3 degrees, I mean, that's not a ton, but that's enough that it could affect it if you're reading the right temperature to begin with, I guess, that if that makes sense. But maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying there. I don't know. Sujek says, hello, everyone. Sorry for being late. Been sick all week. Oh, no, man, I hope you're feeling better. But hey, don't worry about being late. We don't take attendance here. It's okay. You can show up whenever you want to, miss an episode, come back next week, whatever. But I hope you are feeling better. Who's that? Cheryl says, hello from Western Kentucky. Good to see you. We got Animal Games from Northeastern Missouri, huh? I don't know that I've ever been to Northeastern Missouri. I don't think I have, actually. Who's that? Miss Kitty from Utah. Good to see you. Says, thanks for all you do. You are absolutely welcome. And Scrap 5000 says, smash the like button. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. We got 25 likes in here so far. Who's that? Hope from Quinlan, Texas. Nice. Good to see you. And Dawn says, hey, Chris from South Central Illinois. Got rain here now. Yeah, it rained. It rained pretty much all day today. It started off early this morning. It wasn't as cold early this morning. It got a little bit colder, and but just stayed in. I mean, it pretty much rained off and on pretty much all day today. Chris P says freezer camp. I think you're probably talking about what to do with the rabbit. That's how I would do it. But like I said, it depends. I don't know if that's a pet rabbit or your or not. But anyway. Justin says, just started my quail journey, just hatched my first clutch. Thanks for all your help. You're absolutely welcome. Congratulations on your hatch. Hopefully it went well. And then we got the Malteser from Malta. Good to see you too. All right, JJ says, my incubator runs between 99 and 101. Is 101 too hot? No, that's pretty good, actually. 99 to 101. If it's bouncing back and forth between those, that's right about right. So I think you're doing good. In fact, if you're using a still air incubator, 101 is the temperature you want to incubate at. With a forced air, you really want to go with like 99.5 degrees, somewhere around in there. But 99 to 101, and it's going back and forth, it's okay. Nick says, what's one quail you don't have that you want to eat or as a pet? What? Nick said, okay. Let me read that again. What's one quail you don't have that you want to eat or as a pet? I don't think I have. I don't have an answer for that one. There's no quail out there that I don't have that I want to keep I don't keep my quail as pets. I keep them as livestock in a sense, as their breeder. I mean, I want them to have a good life. I want to treat them well, but they're not pets to me. They produce meat and eggs. That's what they're for. And I don't have, there's nothing out. I've got the ones I want. Jumbo Pharaohs. That's what I'd raise. That's what I like. That's what I'm growing. So I'm not sure if I misunderstood the question, but no, I don't have an answer for that. Silver Creek says, been a while since I've been in the live back into Coturnix and Jumbo Whites this coming season. My wife got a Dickey's incubator. I'm not familiar with that one. And we're ready to go. Well, awesome. Hopefully things go well, and you have good hatch rates. I'm not familiar with that incubator at all. May have to check it out. Where are we at here? AJ says, hello, Chris, everyone. I got my first 2 litters of kits my first 2 litters of kits ever due next week, and I'm really excited. Well, congratulations on your upcoming kindling. Hopefully that goes well. I can't blame you for being excited. First litters are always exciting. So good luck with that. I hope it goes well. Brandon says, cold up here too, upper 20s today. Was in the 40s the past couple of days. Almost caught spring fever. Yeah, I know what you mean. It was like 60 the other day. Yeah, and it's supposed to be back up in the 60s through the weekend. So it's just a temporary, like a one-day cold snap that's coming through. It'll warm back up. We're getting close. Spring's coming. RBL Jackson says, hey there, found a deal on hatching time quail cages, 3-tier quail cage, One brooder tier, one grow out tier for $700. Pick up Saturday. Need to get quail eggs next or a few mature birds to start. Well, awesome. Good. Congratulations on your find. I don't know what they normally run for, but let's see, a three tier quail layer and a brooder tier and a grow out tier. One brooder tier, one grow out tier for $700. Well, I guess that's a good deal. I build all my cages, so I don't really keep track of what actually, store-bought or not store-bought, but you know what I mean, pre-made cages go for. But congratulations on finding a good deal on it. And yeah, next step is to get some quail in there. Now, whether you start with eggs or whether you start with, adult quail, either way, good luck with it. I hope it goes well. I'm sure it will. Hi in the bread aisle says, good evening. Set an alarm so I wouldn't miss today. Well, thanks for joining us. I appreciate that. Chris says, have you ever raised potbelly pigs for meat? No, I have not. I've considered it before, but no, I don't think I'll actually do that. It seems like I live in town, so I kind of have to be careful. Potbelly pigs are something I could have, but the ordinance says, the city ordinance says you have to keep them inside. You can only let them out. They're supposed to be pets. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So it'd be a little bit of work. I mean, technically somebody'd have to complain before I really have to worry about it anyway, but I'm just not sure it's worth it for me to try to get away with that. Silver Creek Aquatics says all thermostats and heaters and incubators and aquarium ripariums have a tolerance of 3 degrees east or west of what is set. Okay. So yeah, okay, what you're saying is, yeah, okay. So it could be give or take 3 degrees on your thermometers and incubators and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean that's probably possible. Especially with your incubator, like you said, it has a give or take of about 3 degrees. Yeah, you're not going to see necessarily an absolute consistent temperature in there. It's going to fluctuate a little bit, and that's not a problem. That's okay. We got Sundown Fragrance from Texas. Good to see you. Justin says, first time doing the incubator, had 25 eggs and hatched 18 birds. So one happy for 18 birds. So one happy for the first time. I think there may be a typo in there. It didn't read quite right, but I think I get what you're saying. You hatched 18 out of 25 eggs and you're happy because it was your first time hatching. And I would say, yeah, be happy with that. That's a great hatch rate. Congratulations. Well done. Silver Creek Aquatics says, hey, Sundial, I'm in Texas as well. Texas is a really big state. So, I mean, you probably don't know each other. Maybe, who knows? Maybe you live close to each other. I always thought it was funny when I, lived in Texas and people would say, oh, you're from Missouri. I know somebody from Missouri. Do you know such and such? I'm like, Missouri's not it's not just one town, it's a big state. I mean, anyway, not a great big state compared to Texas, but still it's considerably big. Not everybody in Missouri knows each other. I always thought that was funny. Hey, Bob, good to see you. 12 gauge says, yeah, said Justin, that's a really good hatch. I agree. Andy Rabbit says, Chris P., we butchered a potbelly pig for someone once. It had about 6 to 10 inches of fat on its back and wasn't really the best taste. Interesting. Hey, I was going to ask about that too. Scrap 5000 says, anyone in Ohio area, is everyone okay? Yeah, I haven't talked to Zach. I don't know if Verna's on tonight. I haven't seen her now that you mention it. Zach from My Shire Farms in Ohio. Verna's in Ohio. They're in Miamisburg, Ohio, so closer to Dayton, but still, I was kind of curious about that too, how that was going. I'm just starting to kind of get caught up on all that and wondered. So if anybody's got any updates, let us know. And Andrew Bailey from Texas, good to see you too. Hi in the bread aisle says, why do you have a male quail mounting another male? He's even balding like a female that hasn't been bred too much, or that has been bred too much. Well, that's probably the hormone. I mean, especially if it's a younger rooster or you've got too many roosters, that's just going to happen from time to time because they're looking for a mate. They're looking for a hen, a female. They've got too many hormones going through. I mean, it's just, they get a little bit crazed whenever they first kind of hit sexual maturity. So it happens sometimes. Usually that means though, you've got too many roosters in there. There's not enough hens, or maybe you've got them in a bachelor pad. You can try to reduce the amount of light. If it is a bachelor pad, reduce the amount of light down to 8 hours a day or something like that, and that'll kind of calm them down a little bit. And then RBL Jackson says, oh, and hello from West Texas. We got a bunch of Texas people in here today. Bob says, still no eggs. Have solar light ordered. Won't it stay on too long? Well, not necessarily. I mean, the light that I use right now, the solar light that I use, it comes on automatically at dark. I'm assuming that's kind of the same one you're talking about. And, if it gets, if we get a full sunny day, it'll stay on pretty much all night long. When I go out in the morning, it's pretty dim at that point, but it's still on. But the birds don't seem to mind that so much. I think it is important to make sure that we do give them a break from light, but they get some days it stays on all night, but not every day. If it's at all cloudy, the light doesn't stay on all day long or all night long. It goes off at some point in the night. I don't know when that is, but it does seem to be, they seem to do just fine with it. It doesn't bother them any at all. I think they sleep just fine, no problems. So it's not a big deal. I don't see any issues with it. JJ Willow says, Ohio is okay. Too far to be badly affected. Just a lot of sneezing. So I'm guessing you're in Ohio, maybe a little bit farther away from that, maybe. Yeah, that sounds like a nasty. I don't know. I got a feeling we're going to hear more and more about that. I just don't know. I don't feel quite confident that it's not as bad as what they say. It's not any worse than what they say it is, I guess. And then we got Dr. Connie Nones, I think it is. Hello from Central Florida. Hey, I'm liking the solar-powered light. Yeah, it's a great light, the one I've got. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, the one that is in my Amazon shop. I don't know if you've got the same one, but yeah, it works pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Hey, Steve Shipley, good to see you. And Billy Gregg says, just built my first touch on your design. Well, awesome. Hopefully it works as well for you as it has for me. And I hope you like it. Hey, there's Verna. Good to see you, Verna. I was just talking about you. I don't know if you heard that or not. We were just wondering how you guys were doing there. I see your point down there that it's at least 4 hours away. Yeah, I get that, but 4 hours is not really that far away. It's still close enough. I'd be a little concerned. I've been concerned about you guys. So hopefully everything is good. I lost track of where I was. Silver Quick says maybe a button quail as a pet. Yeah, I'm not keeping button quail, but I mean, if you want to, sure, no problem with it. Just not for me. Chris says, well, back to the drawing board. I don't know what that means. Back to the drawing board. Are you talking about the pigs, maybe? Anyway, maybe, I don't know. I may have lost track of that. But Animal Game says, thank you for all your informational videos. They help me they help me want to get into quail. I have now had quail for 3 years. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for watching them. I hope that it's a good experience for you. I'm glad that you found the videos helpful. All right. Scrap 5000 says, hi in the bread aisle. Sounds like those quail are woke. Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, who knows? All right, we got a couple people talking to each other. I'm going to skip those. Silver Creek says, Dickies is a good-sized cabinet incubator. I have the answer for quail, chicken, and my peafowl. Okay, awesome. I'm not familiar with it. I'll have to look it up and check it out. Andrew Bailey says, my quail have not been laying eggs for the last 2 to 4 weeks. Any tips? The number one thing is light. They got to have 14 hours a day of light in order to lay eggs. So you say 2 to 4 weeks. I got a bug flying around me. You guys can't see if you're wondering what I'm doing. I'm waving a bug around or off of me. 14 hours a day at least of light in order to lay. So if you don't have an external light on them, then that's probably the reason. Now you said 2 to 4 weeks. So that makes me think they were laying and then they shut down. So the next thing that's going to be is a stress factor of some kind. If you moved them around, like you moved them from one cage to another, they're almost always going to stop laying for a couple of weeks whenever you do that. That's any kind of big stress factor like that's going to cause them to quit laying. And if you just leave them alone, they're going to start laying again, assuming you've got enough light on them. They're going to start laying again pretty soon. So it's just a matter of waiting it out. The other things, like if they're molting, that can take a couple of weeks for them to molt. Lose some feathers, grow their new feathers in. They'll usually not lay during that time period either. So I don't know if that answers the question for you, if that hit on it or not. If it didn't, ask again another way and we'll expand on that and see what we can do. RBL Jackson says we're expecting 80-degree temperature on Monday coming up. Crazy weather pattern, back and forth. I think we just have short memories. I mean, this happens every year. I'm not talking about you necessarily, but we got people. I'm talking to people at work. They're like, "Oh, this crazy weather. This is so crazy." No, it happens every year. This is exactly what February weather is like. It gets warm for a couple of days, then it gets cold, and then we maybe get snow. I mean, some of the biggest snows I remember are the first week of March after, a week or two of like 60-degree weather. It's like this is normal weather for this time of year. It's just we forget about it, I think. Silver Creek Aquatics says a lot like the GQF incubator. That'd be the Dickies one, huh? Okay. Interesting. All right. Verna says, yeah, one day of freezing and snowstorms possible, then back in the 40s the rest of the week. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Let's see. I'm going to skip a few comments where you guys are talking to each other. Hey, there's Scrap 5000 says, Chris only had 1 out of my 6 hoped for white line hatch. What? Oh, hoped for white line hatch. And he or she didn't even make it. I think it was too lonely. I have another 7 in the incubator, fingers crossed. Okay, so I vaguely remember this. What you were trying to do is, for your white line, okay, you're trying to isolate the white gene in your birds, I think is what you're saying, and only 1 of the 6 hatched. And, oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible. Hopefully you get better results on the next one. Let's see where we're going here. We've got a bunch of people talking to each other. I will skip over there. There's Eric Benjamin says, what's up, Chris? Shout out from the Caribbean, St. Martin. Awesome. I bet it's pretty nice there, especially compared to here. Andy Rabbit says, I'm freezing. Yeah, I know. It's the same thing here. I mean, you got the same weather we do. I think you actually got more rain where you're at than we did. But, yeah, it's cold. It's real cold. It was kind of miserable out today. And it's funny to say, because like 2 months ago, it wouldn't have been that bad, honestly, because we'd have been, we're more used to it and all that. But like I said, we're starting to get into that time of year where we're getting 60s and 50s and, stuff during the day. So when it drops down to like 30, it's pretty darn cold. And there was a wind chill, a pretty good wind today. So that kind of made it even worse. Sundial says, I'm in the Houston area. Yeah, I know where Houston is. Been there plenty of times. Verna says, let's see, nothing else happened here yet. I'm in Franklin, Ohio, and nothing is going on, just some rain off and on. Well, it could be worse, I suppose. Chris says it was 80 degrees Fahrenheit and humid in South Carolina. So strange. Yeah, that does sound strange. But Cheryl says, do you have any experience with lion's head rabbits? I do not. Says they seem to have small litters. Just curious. New Zealand's, we don't have that issue. Yeah, I don't have any experience with lionhead, but they are more of a pet rabbit and on the smaller side, I believe. So that would make sense that they would have smaller litters, but I don't know much about them. Silver Creek Aquatics says, yep, the alpha will always show himself when there's not enough hens. Yep, I agree. I think you're right. And then we got Blue Da, DA, I don't know. Says, good evening, everyone from, is that South Texas? Awesome. Lots of people from Texas tonight. Ron Wood from New York, good to see you. And JJ Willow says, Zach is far away, farther than I am. At the first time of the burning train, the wind was going mostly north and northeast away from my Shire farm. It's the water most need to worry about. Yeah, I agree. It is the water most need to worry about. I mean, you're talking about a 4-hour away. I mean, I looked it up where it was in comparison to, to where Zach was. So, and Verna for that matter. And so I know, it's a ways away, but it's not that far when you think about, toxic waste, getting into the air or in the water. Like you said, it's a little scary. All right. Steve says, how successful are you in hatching a large jumbo quail? Are you asking me how successful am I in hatching a large jumbo quail eggs? Okay, so when I hatch my eggs, I can usually get, if I really kind of nerd out on it and pay real close attention, I can get an 80% hatch rate. I probably average somewhere around 70% to 80%, somewhere right around in there on most of my hatches. So Sujek says, Chris, how are the legs? Are you asking me how my leg is? Oh, it's fine. It's great. I went out last Saturday. I went out with my cousin to our hunting property and picked up all our hunting blinds that we had. We had 3 of them out there and had to walk through the woods. And the same walk that when I was actually there hunting, that I had to stop several times and rest because my leg, man, I just walked it just no problem whatsoever. Way better now than what I was doing. So thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Steve says, question. I have a first-time Rex doe that is on day 19 and started to hay stash and dig at the corner. Would you, excuse me. Oh, it's been a long day. Sorry. Just got caught with a yawn there out of nowhere. That seems rude. I can't help it. Okay, started hay stashing on day 19, digging in the corner. Would you recommend putting the nest box in now in case of early birth or wait it out? Thank you in advance. Good question. It's probably okay to go ahead and put the nest box in now. My concern would be, are you sure she's on day 19? I mean, are you absolutely sure you know when she was bred and all that? Some rabbits do build their nests early. Day 19 would be incredibly early. But I would think I would go ahead and throw the nest box in there just in case. I can't imagine that she's going to have them. I mean, I would be incredibly surprised if she were to have her babies, before day 25 to 30, somewhere right around in there. But still, you're only a little ways, that's early, but it's not that early. I'd go ahead and put it in there. If she's hay stashing, she's probably ready to build a nest, and you might as well stick it in there and let her do it. AJ says, I'm in Toledo, Ohio. It's raining now. I still don't feel comfortable being out there while it's raining. I don't blame you. Yeah, I don't blame you at all. That's a little nerve-wracking for sure. Andrew Bailey wants to know what's going on in Ohio. There was a train derailed, spilling, I can't remember what it was they were carrying, but they spilled a lot of basically it's a chemical of some kind. They did a controlled burn to kind of keep it from exploding, which of course, you burned all this stuff up. It releases it into the atmosphere. They had to evacuate the whole town. It was near, I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Palestine or Palestine? Palestine, Ohio, I don't know, somewhere in one of that place. It was near there. They had to evacuate the whole town because, it produced all kinds of toxic fumes and things like that. Now they've let everybody back in. I've heard, I've seen just bits and pieces of it on the news. There are people out there that are complaining about lung issues and some of those kinds of things. So I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll just have to watch and see. Hi in the Bread House says, I have another group, 21 birds, and haven't been able to successfully vent sex. I had 2 eggs at week 7. And then he says, yes, 7. They're almost 3 months now and no eggs from any since with question marks. So I'm guessing, we just kind of ran through the egg thing already, but that's okay. We can go through it again. Do they have light on them? Do they have 14 hours a day of light? If they're not laying eggs and the roosters aren't crowing, you're not going to be able to vent sex them. You can only vent sex whenever it's breeding season for the birds, because the males don't produce that foam except for when they're in breeding mode. But so that's going to be the determining factor of whether you can vent sex or not. But got to have 14 hours a day of light. That's the key. They're not going to lay. The roosters aren't going to crow unless you have that. That's probably the issue. Where you at? Blue DA says, Chris, do you have any experience fermenting feed for your quail? No, I don't ferment feed for the quail. I don't see anything wrong with that if you want to do that, but I don't really think that there's any great benefit to it. It just seems like extra work for not really much payoff. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just doesn't. It's kind of seems like one of those like apple cider vinegar things where everybody kind of went on this kick of apple cider vinegar and how it was going to cure everything and it was magical and all that. And, it's good for you, but it's not magical. So I don't think it's really worth my time and effort to ferment the feed for the birds. But, who knows? If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. Verna says, I drink distilled water. In fact, that was how I burned my hand yesterday, not letting the distiller cool. Oh, I didn't know the distillers got that hot, but interesting. I don't drink. I just drink right out of the water tap. Out of the tap. I always have. I don't know why. It doesn't bother me really. Donald says, "Hey, from me to wait. Hi from me. Oh, hi from Missouri. There we go. Hi from Missouri too. I just started with quail. I have 14 that are 2.5 weeks. Got mine from my Shire Farm. Well, awesome. That's a great place to get them. You've probably got really good bloodlines. So congratulations." Verna says there are a lot of different water tables between where the wreck happened and where this area draws their well water. Yeah, there probably are. But hopefully it's not a big contamination to the water. RBL Jackson says, have you ever sold your quail eggs at farm markets or Facebook, etc.? Curious about that as well. For meat, we have to follow. For meat, we will follow your quick butcher method. Breasts come out fast. Not sure about the legs. The legs aren't too hard to skin out. They're pretty easy, actually. So, yeah, you can get those out pretty easy. I have never sold quail eggs at a farmer's market or on Facebook. I have sold them. I don't know that you can on Facebook. I don't know that it's. I think it's against Facebook policy. I don't think you can sell eggs there, but I may be wrong. I have sold them on Craigslist though plenty of times. That's usually where I advertise if I've got eggs for sale or birds, is advertise them on Craigslist. Bags of Love says to Verna that, let's see, I distill my water too. Awesome. Hey, Little Ridge Farm, good to see you. Mike B says, I hope everyone's having a great night and enjoying some unseasonably warm weather from Big Mike and the family from Pennsylvania. It's not unseasonably warm here. It is cold. Cold. But I'm glad it's warm for you. Let's see. We've got a bunch of people talking to each other. I'll skip it. Brandon says, February is always cold and full of snow. February is our coldest month. Yeah, it was like that when I lived in Texas too. February was always, January, February were the coldest months for sure. Cheryl says, Sujak, my quail are inside a building with heat and air. Okay, I'm not sure what that was a response to, but that's all right. Mike says, have you ever tried growing broccoli? I have tried growing broccoli with limited success. The problem I have with trying to grow things like broccoli's probably a really difficult one. I don't really mess with trying to grow it because it's for a couple of reasons. One, if you are successful, it's like you just get one head basically for the whole plant. It takes up a lot of room for not much return, in my opinion. So that's one of the reasons I don't grow it. The other one is it's really hard to grow around here. It's like we go from like freezing cold to hot summer, just like that. I mean, it's like there's a very little short window there where we have what I would call spring. Now, I know broccoli, and that's probably the issue I've had, is I haven't gotten into the ground early enough. I know it can handle some frost and even some freeze, but it just gets so hot so fast here in the summer that it just that much effort into it because, I've tried to grow it. Didn't work out all that well. Says my connection is unstable. Hopefully I didn't lose the connection. I hope we're not having internet issues. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm going to scroll to the bottom here. I'm assuming you can hear me until I see something different. Okay, we're good. I got a message that said my connection was unstable and that I was it was trying to reconnect. I thought I lost connection. Okay, so back to broccoli. So again, I don't really put much effort into growing it because I didn't have good success with it before. Like I said, all those issues there. And not only that, but it does take up a lot of room for not a whole lot of return, in my opinion. It's not like, green beans where you pick multiple things off of them or, okra or whatever. It's just, you just get one head per plant and you got to devote a whole area to it. It's kind of like cabbage or any of those other things. So I don't really put too much effort into growing it. Angie says, hello from Indiana. I'm just getting started. I don't have any quail yet. I have chickens and ducks, but allergic to their eggs. So hoping I can eat quail eggs. Super excited to start my adventure. Well, I've heard people that are allergic to chicken eggs often don't have that problem with quail eggs. So hopefully that's the case for you too. So good luck with that. I hope it works out well for you. You have chickens and ducks, but you're allergic to their eggs. kind of curious, why would you keep them if you're allergic to their eggs? Maybe you just like having them around. That's okay too, but I don't think I would mess with it if I was allergic to their eggs. I wouldn't keep them around, but that's just me. All right. Chris says, let's see. I've been trying to research homegrown quail feed and didn't come up with anything other than floating catfish food, but that's store-bought. Yeah, I haven't really done a lot of research into it. That's a pretty big topic. That's a lot of, I'm not a biologist, nutritionist. I don't know what you would call it. So, that's a lot of stuff that you'd have to really learn to be able to develop your own quail food. I don't know that it's honestly worth it, but maybe it is. If you find a good, if you're researching it and you find a good recipe and you figure it all out, and let me know. I'd be interested in it, but trying to figure it out on your own is going to be a big job for sure. I haven't put that much effort into it because of that. Angie says, learning everything that I can. Thank you for all your videos and information. You're absolutely welcome. Thank you for watching the videos. I appreciate that. Bob Cole says, going to be +5 tonight in mountains of western New Mexico. Yeah, that's pretty cold. I think we're only getting down in like mid-20s tonight. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. Oh, one more yawn. Scrap 5000 says, Chris, how are you feeling? I'm doing fine. I'm a little tired today, honestly. You can tell I've yawned a couple of times, but other than that, I'm doing just fine. I was up a little bit late last night, didn't get as much sleep as I should have probably, but all in all, doing good, feeling good. Diversity Love says, question, do you have to get a permit to keep your quail? No. They're not native to America. They're non-native birds. Are considered a game bird or like a livestock in a sense. So there's no permit required from like conservation department or anything like that. Your city or your town may require permits for you to be able to raise them. Mine does not. Technically, maybe they do. It's not specifically listed in the ordinance, the city ordinances. Quail aren't. Chickens are, rabbits are. You're supposed to have permits for all those kinds of things. I don't have permits for my rabbits, but again, if nobody's complaining, the animal control's not coming by. They got other things to do. As long as I keep things clean and we're not, I'm not a big nuisance to everybody around me, nobody cares. But no permit required for the quail. All right. Blessed with Pets. Good to see you. Says, hey, Chris from near Shreveport, Louisiana. Hi in the Bread Owl says, addressing the male on male situation, I have 8 females and 2 males. Well, that sounds about right. Sounds like you've just got an overly aggressive rooster. Chances are he'll calm down, as he gets a little bit older. It shouldn't take him too long. It's just when they first hit, 8-week-old, first start crowing, they're just full of hormones. They get, pretty anxious. They'll calm down though. Give them just a little while. And they'll usually calm down. Scrap 5000 says, anyone really think the train was an accident? I don't know, honestly. I haven't looked into it at all that much. To know exactly why it happened. I know there's some class action lawsuits going on. It seems like what they're blaming it on anyway is like kind of I guess oversight. They're not well maintaining their tracks and things like that, and that's what caused it. But I don't know. Could be caused by the aliens. There's other things going on too, right? They just shot down like 2 or 3 UFOs. When I say UFOs, that just means unidentified. It doesn't mean alien, but yeah, there's some people that think that it was aliens. We don't even know what, and that's the weird thing. They shot these down like 4 days ago. Like, we don't know what they are. We don't know. We've got to, get the debris and research. Well, it's been like 3 or 4 days. Haven't you found the debris? Or I don't know. They haven't told us yet. Seems odd. Hey, Gidro's Homestead here says, just popping in to say hi to everyone. Hello to you. Thanks for stopping by. I'm still yawning. Sorry. It's contagious. Can't stop once you start, can you? Animal Game says, I normally get around 10 eggs a day for my chickens and 15 eggs for my quail. Do you have any unique recipes to help me use up some more eggs? Oh, boy. I don't know of any unique recipes. I mean, I really like deviled eggs. Deviled quail eggs are fantastic. They're a little bit of work, but they're really, really good. I don't like pickled eggs. If you like pickled eggs, pickle them. That's another way. Most of the eggs that I eat are either fried or scrambled. Most of the time fried because I prefer them fried. But I don't have any other unique egg recipes, unfortunately. Um, Silver Creek Aquatics says I create content on bird and fish, quail, chicken, peacocks, doves, pigeons, and tropical fish. My man cave is a fish room. Well, awesome. You say you create content. I'm guessing that means like you've got a channel. Is it Silver Creek Aquatics is your channel probably, and you create content on all those things. So awesome. Sounds like a nice channel. Peacocks, dove, and pigeon, huh? I've often thought about getting homing pigeons. I play with that every once in a while. I play with that idea. I just haven't done it. Stills and Squeals Barbecue says, well, better late than never. Good evening, everyone, from rainy West Virginia. Yeah, it's been rainy and cold here, too. So you're welcome here, and thanks for joining us. Let's see. Silver Creek Aquatics says that was at very sorry, not trying to promote. I don't do that. I don't know what you're. I don't know what you're. Are you saying you're not trying to promote your channel? I don't promote your channel. I don't care. It's fine with me. It doesn't bother me a bit. Go ahead and tell me you got a channel and post it on. I don't care. I don't feel like we're in some kind of big competition here. It's not like, oh, don't watch your channel because you won't watch everybody's channel. It's all fine with me. I don't care. Let's see where we at here. Diversity Love says it is pronounced Palestine. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Andy Rabbit says I should watch the news. Probably not, honestly. It's not really that great. I'll tell you what, you don't really need to watch the news that much because if something big happens, somebody will tell you about it like we just did. I didn't hear about it on the news initially. I heard about it from somebody else and had to look it up. Let's see. Stills and Squeal says 54% fertility rate with 100% hatch rate this week. Not too bad. 54% fertility is pretty low. But yeah, 100% hatch rate's pretty good. So I guess there's a trade-off there, huh? Hey, Boris, good to see you. Silver Creek says, yeah, social media says that East Palestine incident is a hoax. Jesus, my prayers are with all you in Ohio and the surrounding area. What do you mean? Social media is saying that the train derailment was a hoax? That it didn't happen? That seems odd. It did happen. Joplin Urban Farm. Look at that. Somebody from my neck of the woods says, all my rabbits got really fat over the winter. How shall I feed them to prep for breeding? Well, that's a good question. It's, overweight rabbits is a problem for sure, especially with your bucks. Well, with your does too, honestly. So I would, cut them back. I don't know how much you've been feeding them, but only give them, about 8 ounces a day is about what you're looking at for most rabbits. So only as much as they're going to clean up within 24 hours. They should be a little bit hungry when you feed them. Now, if you go to feed them though, and you put the food in the feeder and they just dive in like they're starving, give them a little bit more. And when I say a little bit more, I mean like, a little bit more, not much, a little bit more. And you'll kind of find that sweet spot for them. But yeah, only about 8 ounces is roughly what I'm feeding my rabbits, every day. Hopefully that helps. Silver Creek says, I tried fermenting and it failed. I wasted the feed. Well, it's supposed to make him last longer, isn't it? Go further. Sujak says, is there another name for the jumbo brown quail? Yeah, jumbo pharaoh. That's kind of what they're called. Jumbo brown, jumbo pharaoh. Sometimes they're called jumbo wild type. There's lots of different ways people call them. Verna says, Chris, you were raised with that water. I was raised in the Toledo area. Water here comes out of Lake Erie. or water there comes out of Lake Erie. Water here is deep well. Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure how to respond to that. Yeah, I was kind of raised on that. I mean, I've had plenty of well water in my day. My grandmother had a well. Our water comes out of Shoal Creek. I mean, that's the water supply here. Chris A says, "What brand of starter feed is everyone using?" It's a good question. Mine comes from a local feed store. They mill their own feed. It's MFA Agri Services in Neosho, Missouri. So that's what I use, but it's not available everywhere. Silver Creek Aquatics says, the well isn't the only issue. It's getting into the creeks and rivers is a big worry too, especially in the trade with tropical and native species fish. Yeah, I mean, contaminating the water supply is definitely a big problem. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how bad it contaminated it. Stephen Hogan says, question, what outdoor flooring size do you use for your jumbo wilds? 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch or 1/2 inch by 1 inch? I currently raise standard, but have jumbo coming on my Shire farm. I use 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. If you were going to, I would suggest if you can get like 1/2 by 1 coated wire, because if you're going to get coated wire, you want to go probably 1 by 1/2 inch. And if you can get coated, I think that's going to be a little bit better for their feet. But if all you've got is the 1/2, I use 1/2 inch wire and it works fine. So, and that's for jumbos, no problems. 12 gauge says, I sell my quail eggs on Amazon since 2016. There you go. Let's see. Scrap 5000 says, Chris, how much do you sell the eggs and birds for, if you don't mind me asking? No, I don't mind you asking at all. It depends. I kind of look at what other people are selling them for. Usually eggs are going to go for about $4 to $5 a dozen for hatching eggs. The birds themselves usually go for about $1 per week old they are, if that makes sense. So like 1 week old, or like, day old to 1 week old go for about $1 a piece. 2 week old go for $2 a piece. 3 week old go for $3 a piece, so on and so on, until you get to about $5. And then $5 to $6 is about where it caps out for live birds. I usually sell them for $5 a piece for, adult birds. Diversity Love says, pollution does not stay in place. That's why the environment must be a priority. It moves with the wind and the water and carried into the food sources. Yeah, it does. It gets diluted as it goes, but yes, you're right. It does get carried around. You're right. Verna says, Chris, I lifted the lid as soon as it stopped without letting it cool, so steam burned my left hand. And so you're talking about how you burned yourself on the... Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I'm sorry that happened. Hopefully you're okay. Verna says the Egyptians are the redheads of wilds. Talking about quail, not Egyptian people. Silver Creek Aquatics says, I sell some of my quail eggs. I only have a few local people that buy them, though. I probably could sell them online, but I go all local with them at the moment. Yeah, here's the thing about selling them online. I believe you have to be MPIP certified if you're going to sell across state lines. So, and that's not that big of a deal to get MPIP certified, but I believe that's a requirement if you're going to sell them anywhere across state lines. I may be wrong about that. Somebody can speak up and tell me if I am. Mike B says, how are we doing on time here? We got about 12 minutes left. Mike B says, let's see, I live about 2 hours from the train crash and nobody is talking about it. It's already out of the local news cycle for the most part. Seems pretty weird to me. It does seem pretty weird. I think it's a bigger deal than what they're making. I think they're doing a pretty good job of hushing it up. Anyway, Scrap 5000 says 20 people have not yet smashed that like button. Do it, folks. Thanks. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Andy Rabbit says, let's see, I've started to move my quail into their own cages for breeding. I'm getting a blue egg with spots from one of the jumbos. I thought winter was about done with it, until today. Yeah, well, like I said, it's that time of year. We're not out of winter until, April. We got another month. So, just be patient. Oh, I scrolled too far. JJ Willow says, do you know what the young broccoli leaves? Oh, do you know that young broccoli leaves are delicious but takes extra cooking time? No, interesting. I haven't actually tried the broccoli leaves. I might, but Chase says, ordered my first eggs from my shire at the start of the month. Was super excited, but this wait on the eggs is killer. Yeah, I get that. It's always tough to wait, especially nowadays when we're, so used to like next day or 2-day delivery on things, and you got to wait. You just got to wait. It'll be worth it. Silver Creek Aquatics says, I raise them for meat more than anything, but working on selling aquatic plants like a madman, though. Well, okay, there you go. I don't know what that. Silver Creek says A/V. Great. I don't know what that means. Oh, that's where we were talking about. Okay, the audio video is great. Okay, I'm just now catching up to whenever I had the issues earlier. Okay, we're there. Hey, there's Ben Blunt from Idaho. Good to see you. Scrap 5000 says, the train derailers have found us, huh? Steve says broccoli sprouts. I just kind of randomly just broccoli sprouts. I don't know if you're going somewhere with that or not. Maybe I missed the other part of that conversation. I don't know. Silver Creek Aquatics says, JJ 2-week-old broccoli you can eat raw. The microgreen is amazing, along with kale as well and peas. I've done broccoli sprouts before, and they're all right. I don't know. They're nothing fantastic to me, but they're okay. Phil, Washburn, Missouri says, greetings, Chris. Thanks for all the info. We're going to try quail this spring. Thanks to your enthusiasm. Well, thank you so much for the kind words. I'm glad that you found the videos helpful. Good luck with your quail journey. I'm sure it's going to go well. Blessed with Pets, is anyone going to FBRC Cherry Pie Extravaganza show this weekend? I don't even know what that is. So no, I'm not going. Andy Rabbit says, I need to start some sprouts before Sunday morning. It's okay. I don't know what's going on Sunday morning, but let's see. Scrap 5000 says, anyone make fresh pasta with their extra eggs? I keep meaning to do that. That's a good idea. Yeah, I've never made fresh pasta before. I'm not a huge pasta eater, so I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be, I don't eat a lot of bread. I don't eat a lot of pasta. Those aren't, I mean, I do eat pasta, I guess, but it's not like, I'm not crazy about those things like everybody else is. Let's see. I got a bunch of people talking to each other. I'm going to skip over some of those. We're starting to run short on time. Let's get down to some of the other comments. Stills and Squeals says West Virginia requires an actual business license and also a permit from DNR if you have more than one quail. Just to have them, or if you're going to sell them? I would assume if you're going to sell them, that's what would be required. I don't know. AMK Apiary says, thanks for the input, Chris. Sorry, my phone died, but I was lucky enough to catch your response. Okay, good. Glad you got the response caught, because I don't remember what we were talking about. You would have to ask me all over again. Who's that? Scuba Healer says, hello from Idaho. My chickens are finally increasing their egg production. No supplemental light. Waiting my quail to start. Yeah, I think quail are a little bit more sensitive to that than chickens are. Lots of chickens will continue to lay all winter long or just slow down, but the quail pretty much shut down once the days get down below about 12 hours of light a day. It's going to be a little while before the quail pick up, I'm sure, if you're just relying on natural light. Vicky says to me, let's see. Oh, no, Chris A. I use Kanixu brand starter mash and layer pellets. They're out of Idaho. Interesting. Let's see. Rance White says, I've been really watching your channel lately. West Kentucky here, waiting to raise Coturnix quail. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate that. Hopefully you get the information you're looking for, and you find the videos helpful. Blessed with Pets says, I cannot get any litters. Hoping to get some new stock on the show at this show this weekend. It'll be the first show I've gone to. I didn't enter in time, but still going just to look. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. If you plan on getting into shows, go visit a few of them, see how they're run before you enter them, get kind of familiar with them. Diversity Love says, I will give my friends balloons with eyes from now on. I don't, you completely lost me. I have no idea what you're talking about. Vicky says, question for anyone. Is there a reason to add water during quail incubation before lockdown? Is it bad if humidity is 20 to 25% before lockdown? Yeah, that's pretty low. There's an air sac inside the egg of the quail. If your humidity is too low, then you're going to get too much evaporation. That air sac is going to get too big. They're basically going to dry out inside the egg, and it's going to really affect your hatch rate. It's not as big of a deal. 20 to 25% is pretty low. When you go into lockdown, especially, humidity is a little bit more important at that point because they need that moisture in order to be able to pip the shell, break out of the shell, and not have that air, that embryonic sac or whatever it is that's in there kind of suck down around them and dry them inside the shell. It is important that you get the humidity, bump it up a little bit. You really need to be, prior to lockdown, I like to keep it around 50 to 60%, somewhere right around in there. But going into lockdown, I like to bump it up to about 70%. You don't really want to be much over 80%, but 70 to 80% is really good for lockdown. Brandon from Whiskey Tango Farms got good suggestions. Said quiche is a good way to use up a lot of eggs. There you go. That's a good suggestion. Silver Creek says when I'm working the grill, I throw a few quail eggs on it whole and snack on them while I'm waiting. There you go. There's another suggestion too. Of course, you'd have to do a whole lot of grilling if you're just going to be using a few at a time, but you never know. Chris P says $1 million worth of AIM 9X sidewinders fired off the rails from an F-16 to shoot down a party balloon with a payload of less than half an ounce. Owner has been identified as a U.S. citizen. So what are we talking? Is that the UFOs? Did they finally release what those were that they shot down? Huh. I'll have to look that up later. That may be what we're talking about. So Jesse Mills says to Brandon, that's what you made for the Super Bowl. You made quiche for your Super Bowl potluck? Doesn't necessarily sound like a Super Bowl food to me, but hey, to each his own, right? Diversity Love says colonial days stored eggs in ash. I recall one country buries them to eat when they turn black. Yeah, that doesn't sound appetizing to me, but who knows? Silver Creek Aquatic says, I love my homers. So beautiful to watch flying around. And the fact that they choose to come back to you is amazing. Yeah, I find it fascinating. I think it's a really cool thing. I really want to get into raising some homing pigeons. And I'd like to get like white ones, and then I could rent them out at weddings, release the doves at the wedding or something like that. I think that'd be kind of cool. But I just want to be able to take them to work, let them go, and then have them be at home whenever I get home or something like that. I think I think it's really cool. So who knows? Maybe someday you guys will see me actually get some pigeons going. Rance says, have you ever tried the CT60 incubator from Hatching Time? I have not. I've never used anything but Little Giant incubator because it just works, and it's worked for the last 15 years. I mean, that's it. I've never had to buy a new incubator. Every time something goes wrong, Little Giant just sends me a replacement part for free, and it's back up and running. Peaceful Acres Farm says, how do you pick out the best male quail? Well, I go by there's two things I use for all of my quail, whether it's male or female. One is aggression. I don't tolerate aggression. If I have aggressive birds, they go in the freezer. And that means if they're really picking on other birds. Now, a little bit of squabbling here and there is to be expected, but if they're really aggressive, really pecking at the eyes and that kind of stuff, they go in the freezer. The second thing is size. So as long as they're not aggressive, I go for the biggest birds. That's it. That's all I do. Diversity Love says, can I promote your channel to my garden group? I don't know if you're asking me. If you're asking me, promote away for sure. I'm sure whoever else in here that has a channel, they're not going to mind you promoting their channel. I wouldn't think. I mean, they've got a YouTube channel. They should be okay with you to promote it, but that's just me. We'll probably have some more gardening content coming out lately. I don't do a ton of gardening content. I mean, I tend to, I should say, but to me, like I said, gardening is just not that complex. Throw a bunch of compost on the ground, put your seeds in, and water it regularly, and it's going to be fine. But, there are a few things I could talk about. I could do a little better job of maybe explaining. It's hard for me. I've been gardening for so long. It's hard for me to remember, it's hard for me to know what a new gardener needs to know, if that makes sense. It's a curse of knowledge, I think. 12 gauge says, Chris is always so nice to allow people to promote their channels or product. Promote away. I don't care. You can tell everybody about your channels. It doesn't bother me. I don't feel like it's any kind of major competition or anything like that. We're all in this together, right? Who cares if somebody else has got a channel and you want to tell people about your channel, do it. It's fine with me. I don't mind it. I will say in my Facebook group, the Slightly Rednecked Facebook group, I'm a little stricter about that. I don't care if people promote their channel as long as it's kind of relevant content, if that makes sense. Like if you've got a homesteading channel, a farming channel, a channel about raising your own meat, about gardening, about all that stuff is fine. But if you've got a channel where like it's political and you're making fun of the current president or something, I don't tolerate that in my Facebook group because that just creates division, I think, between us, and it's just not the place for it. I don't like that. That's what I don't allow necessarily. And I'm just using that as one example. But if it's completely off topic of everything, like it's just maybe your channel is I don't know. I can't even think of another one. But hopefully you guys kind of get the idea. As long as it's somewhat relevant to what we do, farming, growing your own food, canning, gardening, any of those things, that's all perfectly fine. Sundial Fragrance says, I just made a delicious quiche out of 30 quail eggs. Interesting. I have never made quiche. I should do that. Who's this? Is it Same? I'm not sure if I got your name right or not. I probably pronounced it wrong. I'm sorry if I did. Says, does taking long time processing a rabbit makes the meat tough? No, it doesn't. But what you're going to find with rabbits, and this is any animal for that matter, not just rabbits, but what you're going to find is once you process it, there's a certain period of time that you need to let that meat rest before and that happens to, like I said, any animal that you're going to process. Once rigor mortis sets in and it's all stiff, if you cook it during that, it's going to be tough. If you freeze it while it's like that, it's going to be tough. So I always put them in the refrigerator. I like to dry age mine. I put them in the refrigerator. Rabbits take 5 or 6 days, 4 or 5 days, something like that. Usually I just put them in there when I process on the weekend, and then the very next weekend, by then, they're okay to go ahead and package up and freeze or whatever I want to do with them. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, Verna's saying you can freeze dry quail eggs. I guess you could. Scuba Healer. Oh, excuse me, Ari, one more time. Oh, we're out of time here. I need to probably go and go to bed. Oh my goodness, there's so many comments I have not gotten to. Let's see. I'll get one or two more here real quick, and then we'll wrap this one up. I did see somebody tagged me actually, like Slightly Rednecked is highlighted there. So let me get down there to that. It says, how long does it take? This is a Gold Pro Unlimited. How long does it take to get fertilized eggs once the male and females are together? And how long to get unfertilized eggs after they're separated? Good question. I can answer that one pretty precisely, or pretty, well, I was going to say short answered, but I'm babbling on already. Let's get it answered for you. When you first start breeding your animals and they first start laying eggs, I usually give them about a week and a half to 2 weeks, somewhere right around in there, before I consider their eggs fertile and good to go ahead and incubate. They stay fertile for up to 10 days after they've been bred. So when you remove a male from the hens, they're still fertile for up to 10 days. And that may vary just a little bit, but 10 days is kind of the average. So hopefully that answered the question for you. All right. I think that's probably it. Lots of people talking to each other, and that is okay with me too. But I got to wrap this one up, guys. It's a little bit late. Sorry, I was a little bit, I don't know, just not feeling quite as normal. I'm a little tired today, and I just don't think I was right on the ball like I usually am. Maybe not quite as enthusiastic or as bubbly or something like that. We'll be better next week. So yes, thanks to the mods for sure. Absolutely. Thank you to Verna for modding the channel for us, and for always making sure she's got links posted for everybody, keeping track of what's going on when I'm not paying much attention, answering questions. She's always so very helpful, and we are very blessed to have her join us week after week. We don't say thank you enough, probably, Verna. We do appreciate you. All right, I got to wrap it up, guys. We'll see you guys next week, and God bless. Take care.